Hey, it's Nathan with OptionsForAll.com. In this video, I'm going over my weekly options trading results. Now, I'm actually going to be covering 2 weeks in this video because last week I was out, so we got 2 weeks to cover, and it's weeks ending February 20th, 2026. So we'll go ahead and get into it. I'll be going over the positions that I closed these past 2 weeks, that I opened these past 2 weeks. We'll look at my current open positions and kind of plan out the week ahead. And then finally, I'll close up by having AI take a look at my portfolio and what it recommends that I do in the next couple weeks. Now, I'm using the Options for All options tracking dashboard to share my results and my trades with you, but these are real trades. So this is my Robinhood account, so you can see my account, you can see all the positions open that I'm holding. So these aren't paper trades or anything like that, they're real trades. Also, I want to point out that link in the description down below, I have a link where you can view my entire portfolio, so you can see like what I'm talking about in this video. So if I don't go into enough detail or you want to take another look at something, you can see all my positions. You can click into them, see the legs. You could go over to option strat and everything else. So you can click around, go to my closed positions, transactions, analysis, and so on as well. So link in the description if you're interested in taking a deeper dive, because I'm going to go a little bit quicker than normal. I just want to make this as efficient as possible. So let me go ahead and switch to the last 2 weeks real quick. All right, so here we go. Here's my last 2 weeks. Now, my total realized P&L for the last 2 weeks is $15,670.30. Now, we're going to get into it, but this is quite a bit deceptive. So while that looks awesome and it is accurate for my options trades, it's not actually accurate for like what went down in my account. So you'll see in just a second here. We can see that I still have 4 positions open. I had a solid win rate of 89.9%, and my cash balance is $45,000 on margin at this moment in time. So yeah, that's what we're going to kind of talk about. And if you watched my video from 2 weeks ago, you'll know what kind of was going on, and you could probably kind of see what has now played out if you watch that previous video. So these were the days of profit. So February 12th and 13th, I made nearly $15,000. So supposedly, so those were good days. Supposedly, my benchmark comparison. So my portfolio compared to the S&P gold in that same time frame, I did awesome. The positions that I closed. So these are the positions that closed out over that time frame. So I had quite a few covered calls, as you can see. So I had an MSTR covered call and another MSTR covered call that I was able to fully realize the P&L. So we can see that my credit was 115 and my net P&L is 115, 100% return. It expired and I got to keep it all. Both of those positions I opened during that same time frame as well. So this one I opened and this one I opened and closed over here. Had a few IBIT covered calls as well. So we had this IBIT covered call, this one, and so this one I did 10 contracts right here. So $369.60, 100% return. So got to keep my entire premium on that one. I SPY Iron Condor right here. So every week I've been opening up a new SPY Iron Condor position with the goal of making $400 to $500 40 days from when I open that position. So that's what I was doing here, was just closing out my position that I opened up back on January 5th and I exited February 19th, and I brought in $444.12 and 96.5% return on that particular trade. You can see my legs. So my short call was 715 strike, short put was $660 strike, and so on. So that one was profitable, obviously, and I closed it like a day or two early. It wasn't worth risking it. Again, my goal is $400 to $500 a week, and so I was at that goal, so I closed it out. So that one was a good trade. And then coming on down here, so this is where the problems are. Let me start with these cash secured puts. So these 2 cash secured puts were assigned, and I'm going to show you my assignment in just a minute here, which is painful and lots of lessons learned. I'm going to have another video on lessons learned on these trades, but let me open this up real quick. You can see right here that it's part of a roll chain. Let's open it up and let's come in here. So here's my complete roll chain history. So this chain total, even though that particular position I realized a P&L of $7,418.74. It was part of a roll. So I had another position right here where I realized a loss of $1,700. I realized another loss down here of nearly $4,000. And so I had to roll for an even bigger credit right here in order to make up for the 2 debits that I had previously made. And then I wound up getting assigned because my strike price was $53 and the current price of IBIT is like $35 or something like that. So it's been really rough for Bitcoin, IBIT, MSTR, which is the primary focus of my portfolio. So it's been kind of rough. But for this particular position, you know, I closed it out for 100% return because this option was assigned. You can see I was assigned right here, 1,000 shares, $53 strike price. And so there's my cost basis right there. And same concept with the other one. So this one was assigned. This is a $58 strike price. And as part of a roll chain as well, you can see, you know, I started it back in October and I rolled it again and then rolled out to February, rolled out to May. So the expiration for this one was May, a $58 strike price. And so I was assigned really early on. So that's kind of a lesson learned right there. If your extrinsic value drops, you know, below $0, like you could very easily get early assigned even months in advance because, you know, it's February and, you know, 3 months in advance basically of this expiration date. So people were exercising their options early because it was so deep in the money that, you know, it made it worth it for them to go ahead and exercise their option, which meant that I got assigned. All right, so those were kind of painful. This long put right here, this was a Hail Mary emergency long put. Like Bitcoin was crashing hard and I was worried that my cash secured put positions would, like, you know, get brutally beat down. So this was kind of like a stop loss on my cash secured put positions. And so when my cash secured puts got assigned, I went ahead and sold these long put positions. And you can see that I sold it for a loss. You know, I had a negative 40% return, basically lost $780.40 on that particular transaction. And so, yeah, it was not good. It was bad time. I'll have a post-mortem video going up shortly and, you know, got to learn from these mistakes. Basically, on any sort of really volatile asset, you need to have a hedge against it dropping quickly, and I did not have that in place, and, you know, I've paid the price for that. But obviously, I'm not a financial advisor, and you can do whatever you want with your money, but that's what was going on. Those are the positions I closed, and again, we'll take a look at my assignments in just a second. So the positions that I opened, so I opened up a SPY iron Condor. I opened up 2 of them actually. Let me click into just one of them real quick. And so I opened this one for a total credit of nearly $2,000. Currently I have an unrealized P&L of $116, but it doesn't expire until March 27th. So, you know, I just opened this particular position. So I got some time for it to turn around. And you may notice that my spread between my legs is larger. It's $25 now. I ran several back tests on the best iron Condor strategy, and I came to realize, or what the back test revealed, was that a 0.2 delta with a $25 offset between the strike prices generated the best results when you closed it at a 50% profit. So take profit at 50%. So that's what I have going on. If we come over to my Robinhood account real quick, we can see that I have these limit trades in on those positions. So once it hits these limits, that will be at 50% and it'll automatically close out of these iron Condors that I have right here. So I have a video, link in the description down below, on those backtest results. So if you're interested in why I changed my iron Condor strategy, please check that out. All right, so there's that, and I have 2 of those, and they're both still open. And then I had, you know, the covered calls and everything that I opened and closed. I also bought some leaps options. So when IBIT dropped hard and I got assigned, I actually went ahead and I sold those shares that I was assigned, as I'll show you in a second, and I bought leaps options instead, so I had some leverage on those positions. So let me open this up real quick. So here's my entry date, and we can see that I'm currently down, you know, $105 or 3.4%. But it's at a $30 strike price with the expiration of June 17th, 2027. So I got basically a year and a half in order to hopefully have that turn around. Hopefully IBIT and Bitcoin rip over that time period. I'm going to go ahead and chart this real quick. And so what we have right here is available at chart.optionsforall.com, or link in the description down below. But what we do is we select our target date. So in this case, June 17th, 2027. We enter our stock ticker symbol, which is IBIT in this case. We click generate. It generates a chart for us with all the various indicators. So you can see we got the Bollinger Bands, we got the EMAs and moving averages, we got volume, RSI, MACD, and so on. So it generates a chart, and then we analyze the chart. And what it does is it sends this chart over to Claude Sonnet 4.5, and it runs analysis on these various indicators and gives us an estimate or a prediction of where it thinks the price of IBIT will be on that selected target date. So we're going to have that run, and while that's running, I'm going to go ahead and click this one, and it brings us over to option strat, and we can kind of visually see where we want the price to go over a set period of time in order to become profitable. And if you have not used option strat before, I recommend checking it out. You can use a link down below, or go to optionstrat.com. But this chart's really nice once you kind of understand what it does. Basically, we have our price of the asset and then the dates across the top. So we can see where the price needs to go in order for us to have our position be profitable. So in this case, if IBIT jumped up to $63 on February 23rd, my position would go up from basically zero to $4,184. So that'd be awesome. But also it can set some expectations. Like if the price stayed flat, we could see that due to the Theta decay, I would start losing money basically every month or so. I think that's basically the time frames right here. About monthly, that would be my loss due to Theta decay. But if it starts creeping up, by November 27th, if we're sitting at $51, I'd be looking pretty good right there. We might need to zoom out because I know Bitcoin and IBIT's going to go way up to, $100 sooner or later. And we could see how much that position would be worth, if it hit, $102 by October 8th. That'd be fantastic. But anyway, let's head back over to see what AI thinks IBIT will be at in 481 days from now. So we are bullish on IBIT, so that's exciting. Time frame 481 days. It thinks it'll be at $52.50. And so it gives you a bunch of technical indicators and its analysis like the RSI and EMA and so on. And it tells you, bearish, bullish, bearish, and basically does the analysis and explains why it came up with the prediction and projection that it came up with. It's looking at chart patterns, potential scenarios, and overall bias is bullish. So let's come back up here, and it thinks $52. So let's look at this real quick. So if we're at $52, let's move this down. All right. And so if we're at $52 on June 17th, we'll be doing good. I mean, that'd be profitable, $2,340. So, I would take that way more than I would take a drop down to, $4. All right, so let's come back over here and get out of this. I think you get the idea. I open up, 2 leaps positions. So now let me go to my analysis real quick, and we'll look at the assignments. All right, so like I said, this is where it's brutal and where that $15,000 profit or P&L for the 2-week period is deceiving. And that's because that doesn't talk about like these 2 positions right here. So these are the 2 puts that I was assigned on, that $53 strike price and the $58 strike price. And you can see the shares, 1,000, 800, so big amounts. There's a premium, again, that I captured. But again, it was part of a roll chain. So I had to roll, and I basically received this credit after all the rolling that I did. So those are my actual credits that I received after everything is said and done. My disposition, so negative $14,308 and negative $16,000. So, $31,000 right here. And then, my combined. So I did have those credits. So there was a little bit of an offset, but all told, it's about $26,000 loss on these 2 positions. And so, yeah, that sucks a lot, but, I messed up. Lessons learned there. Let me go to the open positions real quick and I'll take a look at what I have coming up this week. And so I have 2 positions that are expiring this week. I have 2 iron condors right here. We can see my return on this particular one is at $457.08. So I'll probably close that one out early because it's within my goal of $400 to $500. Got this position coming up here soon as well. We can see that my short strikes are between 720 and 665. Current price of SPY is $689.43. So hopefully there's some more Theta Decay on Monday, Tuesday, and I can go ahead and close this position out as well. You can see that I'm at 80.7% return already, and I'll go ahead and close this position out once I have over $400 of unrealized profit. Then in 13 days from now, I have another Iron Condor. So far, so good. I'm at $356 unrealized P&L. And then 3 weeks from now, I'm at another one, and that one's doing well as well. So there's those positions that are coming up. I have some more Iron Condors, and then I get into another cash secured put that I have. So this is another issue that I have brewing, a $54 strike price. And you can see that it is underwater. I've rolled it several times. So 3 of those cash secured puts that are not doing well at all, and I'm learning a lot. You can see the long put that I put on as well. You see the same expiration date. So that was kind of my defensive strategy for IBIT crashing. You can see IBIT's current price is $38.42. So yeah, it's been rough, and I need to make sure that I have some protection for volatile assets like Bitcoin and IBIT. I was too bullish, and it's bit me. I have a SPY covered call right here, and that one's, I got to do something with that, but I still got 117 days to make some decisions. And then I've got all my leaps positions right down here. And at this moment in time, they were basically all in the red as well, but I'm hoping things turn around. And I'm hoping Bitcoin is finding a bottom here and we start moving up here soon. So that's kind of my open positions. Now, I do plan to open up some covered calls on IBIT this week coming up, and I'll open up another covered call on MSTR. It's a poor man's covered call. I should have pointed out that I have a leaps position on MSTR right here, so I've been selling covered calls against this particular leaps position. And then I'm going to open up another Iron Condor position on SPY that expires in about 40 days and hopefully make $400 to $500 in a few weeks from now with that particular position. And finally, I'm going to have AI analyze my portfolio real quick, so I can come to analysis and do AI open positions and generate report. And so what this is doing is it's sending my entire open position portfolio to AI, and it's taking a look at all my positions, and it's going to run a report and an analysis on those positions, and lets me know what it thinks I should do with my open positions. And I like it because it provides a second set of eyes on my portfolio in case I missed something. Like I just went through and looked at my open positions and made some decisions on what I'm going to do in the week ahead. And this kind of helps double check my analysis or my work and gives me its own thoughts and opinions. And where I lost on those cash secured puts, AI was telling me to stop doing what I was doing. It said, stop rolling, stop doing that. You're going to shoot yourself in the foot. Like, it gave me warnings for like months in advance, and I ignored it. And so in this instance, AI was definitely smarter than me. And of course, if you're doing this type of stuff, you're responsible for your own actions, do your own research, all that good stuff. Not a financial advisor, but I think it's nice to have, something else take a look at your portfolio. Alrighty, so the analysis is finished running here. We have immediate action items, my SPY Iron Condor. It says it wants me to close it. I agree. I have my other SPY Iron Condor. It wants me to close it as well, lock in $250 profit. I have another SPY Iron Condor, hold through the week, and close next Monday on March 3rd if it's still profitable. I have high priority assignment risk. My IBIT cash secured put is deep in the money, major loss situation. This is a $54 strike price. Critical decision needed. This position is a sunk cost trap. You've rolled it 4 times and are down $12,639 on the chain. IBIT needs to rally from $38.42 to $54, a 40% rally just to break even on assignment. Recommendation is to stop rolling, take the loss, or convert to stock. So I'm going to let it get exercised early. That's my plan, which is option B right here, the stock conversion. But yeah, I'm definitely done rolling that position. I don't even think I could roll it for a profit at this point in time. Lessons learned. All right, things to watch. Price levels for SPY, price levels for IBIT, MSTR volatility, time decay schedule. And I'm not going to go through all the details here because this video would be another 20 minutes in length. So we got position by position recommendations. So it goes through, you can see it goes through all the different positions, and I'm going to come back here and look at this off the screen. But I was just doing a quick review right here to see if there's anything that like sticks out. We have a portfolio risk summary. It goes over my overall exposure, my net delta, my vega exposure, my gamma exposure, theta decay analysis. So my current daily theta is plus $96 a day. And it says, wait, this looks positive, but let me break down the reality. And it shows me my theta earners, the short premium versus the theta payers, the long premium. So my IBIT leaps and my MSTR leaps. So the amount that I'm paying a day to keep those positions open, basically. So I think that's neat that it pointed that out to me. I don't think I would have really paid attention to it. So I appreciate that it's bringing that up to the front. I'm in decent shape in theta. Let's move on. Priority action list. So close the iron condors, make the IBIT cash secure put decision by Friday, reduce my IBIT concentration this week so it doesn't like that my portfolio is like all IBIT. Bonus next week's watch list, and then overall summary right here. So give me its analysis, and again, I'm going to review it off screen in greater detail to see what I think about it. But I think that's pretty much it for this week. Again, if you're interested in checking out my portfolio, link in the description down below. You can click through it. If you're interested in checking out the tool, you can go to tool.optionsforall.com. We have a free version that you can try out. You don't have to sign up or anything like that. Or, of course, we have a paid version that gives you a lot more features and functions and things like that. But hopefully you found this video interesting or helpful. I appreciate it if you like or subscribe or leave a comment. And that's it. I hope you have a great week.